Hello, today we are going to discuss about what is a research paradigm, how we can define a research paradigm, which way it is important, and which are the types of research paradigm. We can see the same question in different years of question papers, like 2017 June we got the same question, and 2019 December we got this question, and then there is slight difference. In one question paper they asked about what is research paradigm, types of research paradigm, and importance of research paradigm. And in another question paper they asked for what is positivistic research paradigm, what are its limitations, and give you examples. Now let us see what is a research paradigm. Research paradigm means what all things in and around a research process is called a paradigm. For example, the belief, the values, the methodology we are using, and the way of doing the research, way of collecting the data, all these are coming under research paradigm. So we can define research paradigm as a research paradigm is a process, model, or pattern of conducting research. It includes a set of ideas, beliefs, or understanding within which theories and practices can function. We are doing one research based on few values or based on few theories. All these are coming under the research paradigm. Majority of the paradigm derived from one of the two research paradigm. There is two important research paradigm. One is called positivism research paradigm, and another one is interpretivism research paradigm. Out of that, recently there are few more research paradigm has also emerged, but these two are the important one. Every research project employs one of the research paradigm as a guidelines for creating research methods or carrying out the research project most legitimately and reasonably. To select the best research paradigm for our project, we must first comprehend three pillars of research paradigm. Let us see what are the three pillars of research paradigm. First one is ontology, second one is epistemology, and third one is methodology. So ontology is the philosophical theory regarding the nature of reality. It is a theory regarding what is the real thing. What is reality? It asserts that there is either a single reality or none at all. It asserts that there is either one single reality, otherwise there is no reality at all. Ontology answers the question, what is reality? Okay, so that is one pillar of research paradigm. Second one is epistemology. Epistemology is the study of knowledge focusing on the validity, extent, and ways of gaining knowledge. Epistemology seeks to address the question, how can we know reality? How we can understand reality? That question answers epistemology. That is the second pillar of research paradigm. The third pillar of research paradigm is methodology. Methodology refers to general concepts that underpin how one explores the social environment and proves the validity of the knowledge gained. We got some knowledge and how we can prove the validity of that knowledge. That process is called the methodology. The methodological question is how to go about discovering the reality, how we can reach the reality. Now we can see in the picture three pillars of research paradigm. First one is ontology, second one is epistemology, and third one is research methodology. Okay, that methodology is missing there. The third one is actually research methodology. In the next slide, we will see what are the purposes of research paradigm. First point is it establishes the foundation for research and its methodologies. A paradigm investigates how knowledge is understood and researched. Third point is it explicitly outlines the objectives, motivation, and expected outcomes of the research. Then fourth point, the proper implementation of research paradigm in research provide researchers with a clear path to examine the topic of interest. Fifth point is it gives a logical and deliberate structure for carrying out the research besides improving the quality of research work. So from these points we can see that for a quality research work we need a better research paradigm. We should select a research paradigm according to our research work. Now let us see what are the two main types of research paradigm. First one is positivist paradigm and second one is interpretivism paradigm. In short word, we can say that positivist paradigm is just an objective paradigm, in that whatever we observe we believe that. But in interpretism paradigm, whatever we observe we can interpret many things from that. That is the main difference between the positivist paradigm and interpretivism paradigm. Positivist paradigm believe in a single reality that can be measured and understood. We can observe that we can measure and we can understand that. Here, quantitative approaches are utilized to quantify this reality. Here we are using quantitative approach. It is related to the concepts of real inquiry. Then what is interpretivism approach? It is used in the majority of qualitative research. Positivist paradigm we use mostly in quantitative research, and here interpretivism approach we are using in qualitative research. It is conducted in the social science field. It is predicted on the existence of numerous realities rather than a single reality. We believe in single reality in the case of positivist paradigm, but in interpretivism we believe in numerous realities. According to interpretivist, human behavior is not like a scientific variable that can be easily controlled. We cannot keep control on human behavior. The word interpretivism refers to the method of gaining knowledge of the universe that rely on interpreting or comprehending the meaning that human attach to their behavior. Here we are comprehending, and at the same time we are interpreting the observations. Positivist paradigm relies heavily on objectivity and dismisses the importance of individual subjective experiences and values. We can say that when we observe things, one person observes something, whatever thoughts and beliefs is coming in his mind is entirely different from the other person. That the positivist paradigm is not taking into consideration. The subjective experiences and values are seen as unimportant in positivist thinking. This requires the researcher to stay objective and not interact with the participant during the study. Further, it requires the researcher to not to be involved in the process of experiment. For example, one can imagine an experimental physicist conducting research in a vacuum where no external factors beyond the system being studied are part of the experiment. There, physicist is conducting experiment in a vacuum. In that condition only he is conducting the experiment. This objectivity is more difficult to realize in social science research. But in social science research, this type of control, it is very difficult to obtain. Methodology. The positivist methodology emphasizes engaging in research in setting where variables can be controlled and manipulated. There we can keep control or many variables, and we are observing one or two variables or relationship between two variables. Other variables are coming into the study, we are keeping it as control. In the social sciences, it requires that the researcher create somewhat artificial environment where other extraneous factors are minimized. Other variables that affect the study we should keep as minimum. That is happening in the case of positivist paradigm. In the purest form of positivism, the sole focus of the study is to examine the explanatory or causal relationship between variables in the study. The key goal of the positive experimentation is to isolate and control the influence of all the other factors, all the extraneous factors that is affecting the experiment. And whatever variables we are studying, for example, x and y we are studying, these are the two variables, then we are measuring only whichever way x could affect y. Only that two variables we are measuring, and all other variables we are keeping it under control. In this regard, positivist researchers are most interested in the study of internal validity. What is internal validity? How well the study design and evidence gathered the support claim of the causal inference. What inference we are making it, that is supporting our study design or not. That is called internal validity. Then rigor in the positivist paradigm is evaluated based on the degree to which the researchers has been able to minimize the threat to the internal validity. Whenever the researcher is keeping all these threats under control or into minimum, then we can say that the positivist paradigm has great rigor. Such threat includes maturation, that is, naturally occurring changes in the participants. We all know that with time we all get matured. Then, what is the second threat here? That is history. History, all what all events are happening during this experiments or just before the experiment. But maybe we are maybe checking someone's emotional intelligence, and then in order to increase the emotional intelligence, someone is giving some coaching for him that will affect. The third one is instrumentation. We are using, or the researcher is using, many measurement techniques or tools like questionnaire or schedule. All these he is using to measure a construct or a psychological variable, maybe the emotional intelligence. The difference in that instrumentation also a threat in the internal validity. Then next one is statistical regression, that is the tendency for scores to regress towards the mean in the following measurement. We are measuring it gradually many times, and usually we find out mean value, that is the central tendency. You know that maybe during the statistical analysis we are finding out the mean. There we can see some regression, that is another threat to the internal validity. Then testing effect. Sometimes the test conducted by one researcher may not be the same way as the another researcher, so the testing effect is also cause the internal validity. Then the sixth one, selection of participants, that is pre-existing difference in the participants. We can say that one individual is not similar with another individual, or one participant in the experiment is not exactly as the another participant in the experiment, so that selection of the participants also cause the internal validity. The next one, mortality of the participants. We select many participants, maybe the death of the participants affect our experiment, that is called the mortality of the participants. These all factors affect our internal validity. What is internal validity? Actually, the common inference is there. Whatever result we get from our experiment is going in hand in hand with our common inference, is inference or not. Both should go hand in hand, that is our inference and the result we get from our experiment, both should match. That is called the internal validity. The studies conducted in the positivist paradigm pay careful attention to this threat to the internal validity. Now let us see what are the limitations of this positivist paradigm. Positivist relies on experience as a valid knowledge. Here the source of knowledge is only experience. That is one limitation. However, a wide range of basic and important concepts such as time and space are not based on experience. There might be many additional factors that have impacted the research findings, but positivist research philosophy fails to acknowledge all the effect of these factors. There they are looking into only one thing, that is valid, say valid knowledge, that is only the experience or direct observation. Then, secondly, positivist assumes that all types of processes can be perceived as a certain variation of actions of individuals or relationship between individuals. They think that we can assume that all the process there are some relationship between the variables, and maybe one variable affect the other variable in particular way. Then thirdly, research findings in positivism studies are only descriptive, thus they lack insight into the in-depth issues. Here we are not studying the in-depth issues. Whatever we are observing, we are measuring that. These are the limitations of positivist paradigm. Next slide, let us see few examples of positivistic paradigm. A study into the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the equity of fashion brands in North America or in India, or maybe one particular state. That way we can do the study. Here all the fashion brands, many brands are there like Levi's, Van Heusen, Park Avenue, all these brands got affected due to COVID-19 pandemic. Here we are doing a study on the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on fashion brand. Maybe what we are measuring, maybe we are measuring the yearly turnover of that particular brand, and we are comparing with another brand. That type of study we can do with the positivistic paradigm. Then second example, we can say the study of relationship between the diffusion of innovation of mobile applications and saturation of application. Now we can say that there is a saturation of application. The mobile phone, we can see many applications, we can use many applications for one particular purpose. For example, editing the video or editing the photo, there are many applications. There is a saturation of applications in the in the mobile field, we can say that. So then study the relationship between this diffusion of innovation and then the saturation of application. That study also we can say as an example for positivist paradigm.